بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? This is Mr. Nabil Adam from Al-Mbarkiya Secondary School. Today I'm going to present a lesson for grade 10. Grade 10, I'm going to present you Setbook questions for summarizing Unit 7. The title for Unit 7, Power, the Alternatives. As you have studied that there are different types of source of energy. Some are renewable and some are non-renewable. Let's start with this question. Can you mention the sources of energy? There are different types of sources of energy, as we mentioned before, renewable and non-renewable. These are some examples like solar energy, nuclear energy, coal, wind power, wind energy, water power or wave power, biomass, natural gas, and oil. So these are different sources of energy. Some are renewable and some are non-renewable. Look at the picture here. What kind of energy is used in this picture? Yes, it comes from the sun. It's called solar energy. Can you mention the non-renewable source of energy? Non-renewable, it means we cannot use it again and again. They are finite, they are limited, they will run out, they cause pollution. So these are the non-renewable source of energy. Nuclear power, oil, coal, natural gas, they are non-renewable source of energy. What is the main source of energy in Kuwait? Yes, it's oil. The use of oil and other fossil fuels is contributing to environmental damage and global warming. استخدام النفط والوقود الأحفوري الآخر ده بيساهم في الدمار البيئي والاحتباس الحراري. So using oil and other fossil fuels like coal and natural gas cause environmental damage. They contribute, they take part in environmental damage and global warming. They cause pollution. Yes.
Fossil fuel.
These are the fossil fuels, a source of energy: oil, natural gas, and coal. They were formed underground from plant and animal remains millions of years ago. الوقود الأحفوري اللي هم الثلاثة، الفحم والنفط والغاز الطبيعي، هذه تكونت من متكونة تحت الأرض من بقايا نباتات وحيوانات ماتت من ملايين السنين. What are the advantages of the different kinds of energy? We are going to mention the advantages and then the disadvantages of different kinds of energy. Of course, the advantages, the benefits, the pros, they are what? They made our life modern. They made our life easier. They made our life comfortable. What are the disadvantages of modern kinds of energy? They cost a lot of money. Also, they damage the environment and cause pollution. They contribute to global warming. Drilling for oil can destroy animal habitat. يعني تنقيب بحث عن النفط ده بيدمر موطن طبيعي الحيوانات, the forests, الغابات. So when scientists and petroleum engineers look for oil, they have to cut down the trees. These trees are the animal habitat, the natural habitat of animals. So these are the disadvantages of different kinds of energy. They are expensive, they damage the environment, they cause pollution, they contribute to global warming. Can you mention some alternative resource of energy? مصادر طاقة بديلة, alternative, renewable, like what? Wave power or water power, wind power, solar energy, and biomass اللي جاي من النباتات الحيوي. What are the natural oils made from? أنا ما بفكر في صناعة نفط طبيعي. What are the natural oils made from? Renewable oils, نفط متجدد. These renewable oils or fuels were made or are made from grain, حبوب, wood chips, خشب أو نشارة خشب, and agricultural waste المخلفات الزراعية. So renewable oils are made from a mixture of crude oil and grain, wood chips, and agricultural waste. We've got here some questions to be answered. Think and speak. What are some possible consequences if the world's industry reduces its energy use? إيه النتائج المحتملة لو صناعة العالم خفض استخدام الطاقة؟ What are the disadvantages of natural sources of energy like wind power, wave power, and solar energy? عايزين نناقش مساوئ وعيوب المصادر الطاقة الطبيعية زي طاقة الرياح، طاقة الأمواج، وطاقة الشمسية. Think about these questions. Check your answers. What are the possible consequences if the world's industry reduces its energy use? If the world's industry reduces its energy use, pollution will be reduced. التلوث هينخفض. And oil supplies will last longer. ونضمن أن احتياط النفط يستمر لفترة أطول. Pollution will be reduced and oil supplies will last longer. What are the disadvantages of natural sources of energy like wind power, wave power, and solar energy? Here, first, wave machines could be dangerous to ships and fish, and the technology used is too expensive. بالنسبة لطاقة الأمواج، الآلات اللي بنستخدمها لإنتاج طاقة الأمواج ممكن تكون خطر. could be possible. It could be dangerous to ships. ممكن تكون خطر على السفن and fish, and the technology used is too expensive. كمان التكنولوجيا أو التقنية المستخدمة بتبقى غالية جدا. And these wave machines or wave farms may put tourists off. ممكن تبعد السياح عن الشواطئ. They may put tourists off. Can you suggest some ways to reduce the amount of energy we use in our cars? ممكن تقترح لنا طرق تخفيض كمية الطاقة اللي بنستخدمها في السيارات. How can we reduce the amount of energy we use in our cars? We have different ways. We could share cars with other family members. We can use alternative modes of transportation like buses, trains, subways, or go on foot. We can use bicycles. يبقى ممكن نستخدم مصادر طاقة ممكن نشترك في سيارات مع آخرين. ممكن نستخدم مواصلات أو طرق مواصلات بديلة زي المواصلات العامة. Public means of transport like buses, trains, subways, bicycles. We can go on foot. We can also replace our big cars with smaller ones. ممكن نستخدم سياراتنا نستبدل السيارات الكبيرة بالسيارات الصغيرة. We can use electric cars. ممكن نستخدم سيارات كهربائية or solar power energy in our cars. ممكن نستخدم طاقة شمسية في سياراتنا. Fossil fuels. Mention the 3 types of fossil fuels. زي ما قلنا في أنواع 3 للطاقة الوقود الأحفوري. هم 3 أنواع. Yes, oil, coal, and natural gas. Are they renewable sources or non-renewable sources of energy? هل هي مصادر طاقة متجددة ولا غير متجددة? Of course, they are non-renewable. They are finite. They are limited. They will run out. They cause environmental damage or global warming and pollution. So these are the fossil fuels as we mentioned before. Now let's watch a video about one of the fossil fuels is oil. Watch this video and then we'll answer the next questions.
Fossil fuels. Fossil fuel is a term used to describe a group of energy sources that were formed from ancient plants and organisms during the Carboniferous period approximately 360 to 286 million years ago, even before the age of dinosaurs. At that time, the land was covered with swamps filled with organisms and plants. As they died, they sank to the bottom of swamps and oceans and over millions of years started decomposing under layers of sand, clay, and other minerals. Different types of fossil fuels formed depending on the combination of organic matter, temperature, time, and pressure conditions while decomposing. There are 3 major types of fossil fuels: coal, oil, and natural gas. Coal was formed from ferns, plants, and trees which hardened due to pressure and heat. Oil was formed from small organisms like zooplankton and algae, where pressure caused the more complex organic matter to decompose. Natural gas was formed by the same process as oil, only it was exposed to more heat and pressure, causing it to further decompose and turn into a gaseous form. Fossil fuels are sought-after energy sources because they have a high energy density. They are the world's dominant energy source. Fossil fuels have a variety of applications from electricity production to transport fuels. They can also be used to make a variety of common products, from plastics to cosmetics to even some medicines. These resources have powered industrialization over history and continue to do so today. Fossil fuels can be an abundant and cheap, or in some cases, a scarce and expensive form of energy, depending on geographic location. For this reason, geopolitical issues arise due to scarcity caused by the natural geographic allocation of these highly valuable resources. Fossil fuels are considered non-renewable resources because they take millions of years to form, which means that once they are used, the resources will not be replenished in a human lifetime. The gradual depletion of the most accessible fossil fuel reserves have forced companies to develop technologies for extracting more challenging or unconventional reserves. In many cases, this means additional safety and environmental concerns as well as higher costs. Fossil fuels are also the largest emitters of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas which causes climate change. In addition, their production causes both environmental and human health issues. These concerns have triggered society to look at alternate sources of energy that are more environmentally sustainable and renewable. That's fossil fuels.
So, as you know, in this video, you know that the fossil fuels are three types: oil, coal, and natural gas. And they are formed underground from the remains of plants, animals, millions of years ago, and we use them for getting energy, making electricity, making different types of materials like polymer, plastic, tar, petrol, etc. And they cause pollution, global warming. Let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of solar power. Solar power. What are the advantages of solar power? For several years, countries around the world have been looking for new energy sources to replace fossil fuels. Why? بلك لسنوات عديدة الدول كانت بتبحث عن مصادر طاقة متجددة تستبدل الوقود الأحفوري، النفط والفحم من الغاز الطبيعي. Here, these are the non-renewable energy, as we mentioned, fossil fuels like coal, oil, natural gas, and nuclear fuels. They are non-renewable, they cause pollution, they are finite. So we have to find other new sources like solar power. Non-renewable energy sources are finite. Experts say that in the future, the sea with its wave and tide energy could provide enough energy for the whole planet. نتكلم على طاقة تانية اللي هي الويف باور، طاقة الأمواج. بيقول لك الخبراء بيقولوا إن في المستقبل البحر بقى طاقة المد والجزر والأمواج ممكن يوفر طاقة كهربائية للكوكب بالكامل. The whole planet, our Earth. Do you think that wave energy could replace fossil fuels in the future? هل تعتقد إن طاقة الأمواج هتستبدل الوقود الأحفوري في المستقبل؟ Scientists are working on the wave hub. This is a testing device which will be located in the sea 15 kilometers from the southwest coast of Britain and will cover 20 square kilometers. بيقول لك العلماء بيعملوا الآن على محور أو مشترك الأمواج اسمه ويف هاب. ده جهاز فحص هيقع في البحر على مسافة 15 كيلومتر من الساحل الغربي الجنوب الغربي من بريطانيا، ويغطي مساحة 20 كيلومتر مربع. It will produce 30 to 40 megawatt of electricity every year. هذا الجهاز أو هذا المحطة الأمواج هتوفر 30 ل 40 ميجا وات لكهرباء كل سنة. One of the greatest advantages of the wave farms is that they will be invisible, unlike wind farms. Invisible, cannot be seen. بيقول لك واحدة من مزايا وفوائد طاقة الأمواج إن محطات الأمواج هتكون غير مرئية invisible، بعكس الويند فارمز. wind farms من عيوبها they are visible، هي مرئية. They destroy the beauty of the countryside. بتدمر جمال الطبيعة. Some people said that the wind farms spoil the countryside. بتشوه المنظر. But the wave farms are invisible. The wind farms or wind mills are visible. Wind farms are very unpopular with some people who say they spoil the countryside. زي ما قلنا ان طاقة الرياح او محطات الرياح اللي هي الطواحين الهوائية دي غير مفضلة. They are unpopular. People don't like them because they say they spoil the countryside. They damage the beauty of the countryside. بتدمر الموطن، بتدمر الايه الطبيعة، وبتدمر تشوه المنظر بتاع الريف. So people are protesting. الناس بتظاهر. They are against having the wind farms or the windmills because they spoil the countryside. What are the disadvantages of wave farms? ايه مساوئ طاقة الأمواج أو محطات الأمواج. As you mentioned, machines are just below the surface of the sea and so could be a danger to ships. ممكن تكون خطر على السفن. طالما هي تحت سطح المية ممكن تصطدم بها السفن. They could be a danger to ships. In addition to this, some people think that wave farms may put tourists off and could be a danger to fish. ممكن تكون خطر على السفن، ممكن تكون خطر على الأسماك، ممكن المحطات الأمواج دي تبعد السياح يخاف يقربوا من الأجهزة دي. The wave farms may put tourists off the beach. Also, the technology is not cheap. It costs a lot of money. من المساوئ الرابعة أن it's very expensive. It's not cheap. In the future, scientists may resolve these disadvantages, but it is certain that the world for now will still be relying on gas, oil, and coal energy sources. بلك في المستقبل العلماء ربما يحلوا هذه المساوئ أو يحاولوا يتغاضوا عنها، يحلوا مشكلة العيوب طاقة الأمواج، ولكن الشيء الأكيد حتى الآن أن العالم سوف يعتمد على الغاز والنفط والفحم كمصادر طاقة بديلة. We cannot replace oil, natural gas and coal entirely or completely. ما نقدرش نستغنى عنها تماما. Scientists are also constantly working to improve solar power technology. بيقول لك العلماء أيضا بيعملوا باستمرار على تطوير طاقة الأمواج، طاقة شمسية. although initially expensive. على الرغم من هي مبدئيا في البداية بتبقى expensive. at the beginning initially expensive. It has some advantages. Mention two of them. What are the advantages of the solar energy or solar technology, solar power? ايه مزايا الطاقة الشمسية؟ Solar panels fitted to the roofs of houses can greatly reduce the bills households have to pay throughout the year. بيقول لك الألواح الشمسية اللي تكون مثبتة على الأرفف البيوت ممكن تخفض من الفواتير الكهرباء اللي المنازل هتدفعها طول السنة. As the houses can take energy directly from the sun to power household appliances. لأن المنازل سوف تستمد طاقتها الشمسية من الشمس. البيوت هتاخد طاقتها الكهربائية من الشمس مباشرة لتنير وتشغل الأجهزة المنزلية. Also, technology improves more and more things will start running from solar power. وبيقول لك مع تقدم التكنولوجيا أشياء كثيرة أكثر وأكثر هتستخدم طاقة شمسية لإدارتها وتشغيلها. Suggest some ways to diminish the amount of energy we use in our cars. ذكرنا السؤال ده قبل كده من شوية. اقترح بعض الطرق لتقليل كمية الطاقة اللي بنستخدمها في السيارات. زي ما قلنا we could share cars with other people who are going to the same place as us, who are going to the same destination or direction. نشارك السيارات مع الناس اللي ماشيين معانا في نفس الاتجاه. Share a car, share it. Secondly, we could use alternative modes of transportation. ممكن نستخدم وسائل مواصلات بديلة like buses, trains, bikes. We can walk, we can go on foot. Yes, these are different types or alternative modes of transportation like public means of transport. And finally, if you have a big car, you could replace it with a smaller one to save petrol. عشان نوفر البنزين ممكن نستبدل السيارات الكبيرة بالسيارات الأصغر اللي بتستهلك وقود أقل. When you are in your car, do you ever think, do I have to drive or could I travel by bus? Recently, I've asked myself these questions more often. People don't like being stuck in traffic jam or traffic congestion. There is too much congestion on the roads. There are too many cars, too many buses, a lot of people. Here, the smog is a danger to nature and to people's well-being. Smog, دخان الضباب، الدخان اللي جاي من السيارات، CO2 CO1، ده سبب خطر على الطبيعة، خطر على صحة الناس. Smog is dangerous to people who suffer from asthma. الدخان ده خطر على الناس اللي بتعاني من مرض الربو والحساسية، الأزمة. How is smog dangerous to people? How could you save some energy at home? إزاي احنا نوفر طاقة كهربائية في البيت؟ TVs, DVD players, computers, stereos, and game consoles still use energy in standby mode. When not in use, switch these appliances off at the wall. عشان نوفر الطاقة الكهربائية في البيت، نحن يجب أن نطفي هذه الأجهزة لو احنا مش بنستخدمها. When we don't use them, we should turn them off. We should switch these appliances off. And always remember to use water wisely. لازم نستخدم أو نتذكر إن احنا نستخدم الماء بحكمة، ما نصرفش في المية. Turn off lights in the rooms you are not using. نطفي اللايتات أو المصابيح اللي في الغرف اللي مش بنستخدمها. When you travel, make sure to switch off all electric appliances and lights before leaving home. عند السفر تأكد إن تفصل كل الأجهزة الكهربائية وتطفي كل المصابيح قبل مغادرة البيت. This is a diagram shows a source of energy. As we know, there are non-renewable source of energy and renewable source of energy. Non-renewable source of energy are called fossil fuels. Like what? Oil, natural gas, and coal. What are the advantages of oil? Oil is used for generating electricity لتوليد الطاقة الكهربائية. Operating machines تشغيل الآلات. Heating تدفئة. It's easy to store سهل تخزينه. And of course, the natural gas and coal, these are the advantages. The disadvantages of the fossil fuels, they are finite, they are unlimited, they cause pollution, they are harmful to the environment, they harm the environment, بتدمر البيئة، بتضر البيئة. They cause global warming. The renewable sources of energy, these are the alternatives. مصادر الطاقة البديلة أو المتجددة: solar power, wind power, wave power. What are the advantages of the solar power? They are unlimited. They are clean. They are eco-friendly. They are free. الطاقة الشمسية غير محدودة، نظيفة، صديقة للبيئة، مجانية. They are free. But the disadvantages, they can't be applied everywhere. ما يقدرش تطبيقها، يمكن تطبيقها في كل مكان. When it's cloudy، لما يكون غائمة، or at night. It's very expensive to apply. غالية جدا في تطبيقها. Can't be collected at night. لا يمكن تجميعها أو تخزينها بالليل. The wind power, the advantages, they are unlimited, they are clean, they are eco-friendly, they are free. نفس مزايا السولار باور. But the disadvantages, they can't be applied everywhere. They are very expensive to apply. They spoil the beauty of nature. زي ما قلنا إن when the farms or when the mills, they spoil the beauty of the countryside. بتشوه جمال الريف، الطواحين الهوائية. The wave power, the advantages, they are unlimited, they are clean, they are eco-friendly, they are free, they are invisible. نزيد عليها إن هي غير مرئية. But they can't be applied everywhere. They are very expensive to apply. They are dangerous to fish and ships. زي ما قلنا خطر على السفن وممكن خطر على السفن والأسماك. They put tourists off. بتبعد السياح عن الشواطئ. ممكن كمان هنا نذكر نقول solar power and wind power, they need a large space. من عيوبها إن كمان محتاجة مساحة كبيرة. They need a large space. There are different ways to diminish energy in our cars. ممكن نذكر طرق تقليل الطاقة في سيارتنا. Sharing cars, using public buses, using electric cars, using smaller cars instead of big cars. How can we diminish energy we use at home? Turn off the lights after use special light bulbs or saving energy الموفر للطاقة. We can use energy saving appliances. نستخدم أجهزة الموفرة للطاقة. Use of crude oil. احنا بنستخدم النفط الخام في ايه؟ We can use crude oil to make petrol for cars. البنزين للسيارات. tar for roads يعني القطران او زفت او القطران اللي هو المادة الخام اللي بيستخدم لرصف الطرق. polymer for plastic البوليمر لصناعة البلاستيك. ديزل etc. لخصنا أسئلة سيتبوك هنا. أهم الأسئلة هتلاقي في أسئلة اتكررت. معنى أن السؤال اللي اتكرر معناه أن الأسئلة دي مهمة جدا. دي أسئلة ذكرت في امتحانات وذكر فيها السنة اللي زي ما انتم شايفين 2012 2017 2014 2016 ذكرت فيها الأسئلة دي. ركز فيها، اقرأ السؤال واقرأ الإجابة وهتعرف الترجمة بتاعتها بعد شوية. يبقى how can we ensure that the supply of natural oil lasts longer? We should use oil carefully. We should use new ways of energy. Developing new ways or new sources to provide energy is very important and necessary. And why? Because oil is finite, because oil could run out. It's to reduce pollution كمان عشان نقلل من التلوث. Using a mixture of renewable and crude oil has some advantages. Mention them. لكن استخدام خليط النفط الخام والنفط المتجدد له مزايا. احنا قلنا we can have a mixture of crude oil and renewable oil made from grain, wood chips and agricultural waste. What are the advantages? It reduces costs. بتقلل التكاليف. It reduces pollution. It ensures that the oil supplies would last longer. هتضمن ان احتياط النفط يستمر لفترة أطول. Using crude oil and fossil fuel has some disadvantages or damage for the environment. Mention them. ايه هي مساوئ وعيوب استخدام النفط الطبيعي واستخدام النفط الخام والوقود الأحفوري زي نفط الفحم الغاز الطبيعي؟ It causes pollution, it causes global warming. The use of oil and fossil fuels is contributing to environmental damage and global warming. Explain. لكن استخدام النفط والوقود الأحفوري الآخر بيساهم في الدمار البيئي والاحتباس الحراري. It causes pollution. زي ما قلنا it causes global warming. Drilling for oil destroys animal habitat. يعني الحفر وتنقيب بحث عن النفط ده بيدمر موطن طبيعي الحيوانات زي ما قلنا الفورست الغابات. Mention some new source of alternative or natural energy. ايه مصادر الطاقة البديلة؟ It's wave power, wind power, solar power or solar energy. Mention the advantages and the disadvantages of wave power. عايزين نذكر مزايا وعيوب طاقة الأمواج. أنا كلمة pros and cons برضه disadvantages and disadvantages, merits and demerits. The advantages: it's invisible. It's enough for the whole planet. هي كافية للكوكب الكامل. It's danger to fish. It's danger to ships. It's expensive. وكمان قلنا the wave farmers may put tourists off. Mention the dangers or the risks that may face people when using too much energy. الأخطار اللي ممكن تواجه الناس عند استخدام استخدام الطاقة بشكل كبير. It causes smog. It causes pollution. People face accidents. ممكن الناس يواجهوا حوادث إلى آخره. So it causes smog and pollution. How can we diminish? How can we reduce? How can we decrease? Save the energy we use in our cars. زي ما شفنا الأسئلة اللي ذكرت في الاختبارات قبل كده. We use small cars. We can use buses. We can share cars with other people. We can use public means of transport. We can use solar energy in our cars. In your opinion, how can we save some energy in our everyday life or at home? إذا نوفر طاقة اللي بنستخدمها في حياتنا اليومية أو في البيت. We can use small cars. We can switch off the lights after use. We should turn off the gas after use. نطفي الغاز بعد الاستخدام. What do you think are the main causes of air pollution? إيه الأسباب الرئيسية للتلوث الهوائي؟ It is smoke from cars, factories, buses, trains. People use much energy. How can we solve the problem of pollution from vehicles and factories? كيف نحل مشكلة التلوث من الشاحنات والسيارات والمصانع؟ We can grow plants. We can grow more trees. We can move factories away from cities. نبعد المصانع عن المدن. Oil is one source of energy. What are other alternatives that we can use to get energy? There are many alternatives like coal, gas, nuclear power, solar power, and wind power, wave power, etc. What are the disadvantages of overusing oil? ما هي مساوئ استخدام الزائد للنفط؟ Overusing oil increases pollution. It causes disease. سبب أمراض. It damages nature. يتلف ويدمر الطبيعة. How does using oil destroy nature? كيف استخدام النفط بيدمر الطبيعة؟ It pollutes the environment. Drilling for oil destroys animal habitats. What can we do to reduce the bad effects of using oil? We can depend on solar power and wind power. بيقول لك كيف ماذا نفعل لنخفض من آثار سلبية لاستخدام النفط؟ ممكن نعتمد على الطاقة الشمسية وطاقة الرياح. We can plant more trees. نزرع أشجار أكثر. What do we mean by fractional distillation? ماذا نعني بالتقطير الجزئي؟ التقطير الجزئي fractional distillation. It's the process by which oil is split into many different types. هي عملية يجزأ فيها النفط إلى أنواع مختلفة. زي ما قلنا we can use oil to make petrol, for cars, polymer for plastic, tar for roads. Oil is used for different purposes. النفط يستخدم لأغراض مختلفة. هي دي الإجابة اللي قلتها من شوية. Oil is used as petrol for cars, polymers for plastic, and tar for roads. Oil is used to generate electricity. النفط يستخدم لتوليد الكهرباء. عايزك برضه تقرأ الأسئلة دي. اقرأ الأسئلة مرة تانية، هتلاقي في أسئلة اتكررت كتير، وتعرف إن الأسئلة دي مهمة. الأسئلة دي هتساعدك في حفظ معاني الكلمات، هتساعدك في تكوين جمل مفيدة لكتابة موضوعات تعبير. اقرأ الأسئلة وذاكر كمان الترجمة برضو مهمة، هتساعدك في ترجمة الجمل من لغة عربية إلى لغة إنجليزية. بفضل إن احنا نقرأ الجمل دي لأنه أنا هتساعدك في حفظ معاني الكلمات الموجودة عندك في اليونت. ممكن تعمل بوز للفيديو عشان تقدر تقرأ الأسئلة والإجابة بتاعتها وقت كافي. قلنا الجمل دي تحفظها، تساعدك في كتابة الجمل وموضوعات تعبير. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Until we meet again, thank you and goodbye.